Hello everybody and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante, here continuing on with the Realm Unknown. We've been instructed to join a secret society, or at least go and see what's going on there and report back with evidence. So, following the prefect's instructions, you come at the appointed hour to an inconspicuous mansion on the edge of Anazotti with a spacious yard and a tall fence around it. The gatekeepers bow and open the gate as soon as they see you. It seems the mask is enough to convince them that you belong inside. Inside the yard you see noble carriages, many more than you had expected. You are ushered into a dressing room of sorts, and a change of clothes already awaits you inside. It is a curious garb, a square of flowing, sparkling cloth with clasps and cords to keep it from unwrapping. You have never seen anything like it. With the strange robe and the gilded mask of your normal clothes and face, you cannot help but feel rather silly. This attire feels positively unsuitable for any kind of plotting or scheming. Next, you proceed to a large room. The windows are covered in black cloth to keep prying eyes away, but you forget about it moments later. What seems to be a strange performance is playing out before your very eyes. You hear droning, unfamiliar music coming seemingly from nowhere. You see candlelight dancing and glimmering. Ribbons of gold and silver are hung along the walls' decorations, and there are many people like yourself, dressed in flowing robes and delicate gilded masks with narrow slits for eyes. The people are talking, they stand unexpectedly close to one another, their hands on each other's shoulders. You approach one of the groups, hoping to overhear the subject of their conversation, but you almost recoil when several arms reach out at once, attempting to grasp you tenderly by the shoulder. Stealing yourself, you put a hand on another person's forearm. The masked people seem friendly and genial. No one appears surprised by your insecurity. And the conversations are also quite out of the ordinary. You hear familiar names that could belong to legendary heroes of old, or to the people here who have taken them as secret identities. You hear mentions of books you do not know, and emotions they felt while reading them. Their conversations feel like a strange dream. You hear several voices singing in a far-off corner of the room. There are no lyrics to the song, each voice maintains its own note. Together these voices form a tender, softly aching melody. It feels enrapturing, it spirits you away. You feel so distant now from the purpose of your visit, so withdrawn from the judge's trade, so far away from the Empire and from your very self. A hand touches your shoulder, bringing you back to your senses. A pair of familiar eyes look at you intently from behind a glinting greenish-silver mask. They belong to Octavia. You pull back and bow to the Archduke's daughter. I believe I recognize the man behind this mask. I never expected to see you here today, my extraordinary human. But I must behave here. You best do the same, we are not alone. It would be best if we are not seen too close to one another. As this place, Sir Brante, allow me to explain. This is my circle of Latari, and for you ask no, we do not plot, nor do we scheme. We have removed ourselves as far as possible from such machinations. This place is a little world of our own, a brief respite from tradition and noble customs and other such fuss. Our gathering is but a pretense, a game of make-believe. We pretend we are neither nobles nor citizens of the blessed empire, nor humans nor Arcanians, but the Latari. Do you know what that word means? I would not be surprised if you have never heard of the Latari. These days the people of Latari are mentioned only in rare historical works. Long before us, in an age when this land was fertile and green, the Latari lived upon the world that would become Magra. They were masters of a remarkable art. They could create worlds from nothing but their conscious minds. Many of these people come here for simple entertainment and a brief taste of freedom. Others seek a respite from the binding customs of the noble lot. Still others feel encumbered by their blood ties and ancestral obligations. Only here are we fully free from the burden of our past and our present. Yet some among us seek more than brief moments of freedom. They are drawn here by a fascination with the Latari, and the idea that our entire existence can be shaped by the mind alone. We strive to know the Latari people for ourselves. We strive to continue their teachings. We strive to become them. If we haven't to master the art of shaping worlds from our own minds, we may yet break free of the trap that is this harsh existence. Surprised by this, you ask why she is telling you this so openly. She knows that the rituals of extinct races are held in the same regard as magic, and punishable as such. In response to your question, Octavia suddenly takes off her golden mask and reveals a slight smile on her once hidden face. May your voice and air speak words of deceit. To great shame lies the path of untruth, where an Arcanian lies, where a human denies, the Latari speak truly forsooth. I'm not afraid, the truth of the Latari matters more to me than any persecution. You came here in secret and wearing a mask, which means the Prefecture has taken an interest in my little gatherings, but I am confident you will describe this as an innocent club of young nobles, and keep our fragile world from prying eyes and ears. Would you do this for me, Montgomery Brante? These words spoken by Octavia sound more like an assertion than a question, but you are in no hurry to respond. Your thoughts are tangled, lost among the echoing voices, fluid motions, and transcendent music. This gathering is in violation of the law, this you cannot deny. All rituals of extinct races were banned at the foundation of the Empire. You may summon the gendarmes here at any moment, you only need to give a sign to the driver, and when you get here the circle of Latari will be gone in an instant. You'll prove to the city that not even the most noble of its denizens are above the law, but Octavia will never forgive you. You could, on the other hand, keep the circle of Latari a secret from Elborn, and report this meeting as a harmless gathering of young nobles looking for an opportunity to socialise. But if the secret chancellor ever takes interest in these meetings, you'll be powerless. Someone has already reported Octavia's circle to the Prefecture. There's a very good chance these reports will continue. Perhaps if you tell Octavia of the dangers she is facing, she will disband the circle herself. There is one more way you can resolve this predicament. With a piece of paper, some ink, and a bit of skill, the Circle of Latari could become a noble historical society, one of many dozen in Anazotti alone. Legitimised by the city, Octavia's gatherings would remain a secret within this mansion. But do you have enough influence to make this possible? And would it be wise to expend it in this way? Say something, Montgomery, this is no time to be quiet. The great mystery of Latari is about to begin. Okay, so we can't legitimise the circle, sadly. We aren't patroned by the powerful, we don't have quite enough diplomacy, and our willpower is not ideal. We can ask her to disband the society. And she does like us a lot, so that might not be a bad thing. We can ban the Circle of Latari, and that's almost certainly going to up our own influence in society, which we really do need. Or we can keep their secret. Neither keeping their secret or banning the Circle of Latari feels very useful. I'm going to ask Octavia to disband it for her own safety. We've got the influence with her, let's do that. Gently you take the Archduke's daughter by the hand and beg her to hear you out. With great patience and insistence, you tell Octavia that she has underestimated the danger that looms over her guests and herself. Ever since the Empire was founded, reenactment of any rituals of extinct races has been considered a sign of revolt against the Crown. And worse yet, the Circle seeks to reach the Latari, to flee the Empire, and to circumvent the worldly and divine law. If the powers that be ever learn about this, they will have no mercy. Not even Octavia's noble birth will save the Circle from what will come next. The Circle of Latari has already been reported and is about to be dispersed, and you cannot stop it. Either you will disperse it yourself, or the secret chancellor will take it upon themselves. Octavia will come to no harm no matter what. Many other members of her society will be taken away, regardless of their noble rank or birth. Octavia is focused on you as you speak, her thoughts and mystery behind her dark green eyes. When you finish, remain silent for a while, perfectly composed as befits a lady of her rank, the trembling of her thin lips the only hint of any inner torment. Montgomery, have no choice but to admit that you are right, but why now of all times? So be it, my gentle judge, you leave me no other choice. She turns gracefully to face the people in the hall and raises her hand to call for their attention. circle of Latari. There'll be no mystery tonight. Our meeting will have to end before its time, and there will never be another. I am your leader, and I demand that you forget forever everything that's happened within these walls. This is my word and my will. Leave this place, never to return. The guests exchange confused glances. They begin taking off their Latari masks and robes. You now recognize many of them as the offspring of respectable, noble families residing in Anazotti. Octavia, meanwhile, turns to you. This is enough, I hope? Congratulations, you just entered a dangerous plot against the Empire itself. As for me, I'll continue on my own. I no longer need the others as much as I did at first. Octavia cuts her speech short, and she looks at you intently. But this is my only concern, and my responsibility. Farewell, Montgomery, it'll be a long while before we meet again. I have much to do on my own. You report to Alborn in the morning. You report to Alborn the morning after that his concerns were well founded. There we go, got there eventually. A group of young nobles have founded a secret society that sought to reenact the rituals of long extinct races, but you convinced them to end their dangerous practices. Wisely done, Brante, far better than taking on every powerful noble family at once. We've never been able to punish them all. We've managed to disperse their so-called circle at the very least. The common folk will now see that we aren't going to let younger nobles break the law. The age of equality under the law still remains distant, but thanks to you, justice has taken one step forward in Anazotti. You cannot help but think of Octavia and those who followed her. They dared to reject their nature, lot, and birth in an attempt to become something else entirely. But in the Empire, there is no something else. As for Octavia herself, she has disappeared from your life for the foreseeable future. She seems to have vanished from the social circles of Anazotti since that night. The Arcanian has never been one to share her plans with you. Your encounters with her have ended as abruptly as they had begun. I do hope it doesn't affect her too badly. We still want someone with high influence in Anazotti high society, and the relations with her are still fairly high. The fight for justice has gone up, which we do need. I can't remember what the threshold is that we need to deal with Otton, but it's higher than this. I think it might be 7. And manipulation has also gone up. Okay, so we dealt with that without too many issues, so I'd say that's positive. Okay. Friend of the people, this event is a consequence of your previous actions. Okay, our justice has gone above 5, or was made it to 5. So we are a friend of the people. What is this going to unlock for us? Another day at work at the prefecture is winding down. After hours of paperwork, your fingers are cramped, your vision blurred. Today you must finish incorporating the new decrees of the Great Imperial Council into the Magran Code of Law. The document will then be sent to the Overseer. A knock at the door distracts you. Your visitor is someone you're not expecting to see. Mayor Egmont enters your office. He is the wealthiest man in Magra, the owner of the silver mines, and the leader of the wealthy Communist Party in the Lesser Quorum. He wears a high-priced frock coat made of light grey fabric. He wears no jewellery, but his coat is richly embroidered, the most luxury a commoner can ever afford. Egmont offers you a broad, sun-tanned hand. It is hard, work-weary, and eternally calloused. This is a man who has earned his fortune with the sweat of his brow. Good afternoon, Judge Brante. We met recently about that newspaper business, but today I need to discuss a different matter with you. I came to talk to you on behalf of the manufacturers of Magra. As you know, the principal source of income in the province is the silver mines. Our mines provide silver for the sacramental rites conducted in temples all over the Empire. But the upper vein of ore is nearly exhausted. We need to process new deposits that are lower down. That's where our trouble with the law comes into play. In order to get to the deeper layers of ore, we need gunpowder, but a decree from the Great Imperial Council has forbidden common people from using it. Back in the capital, they're afraid we'll turn that gunpowder into a weapon. But this restriction will harm not only the manufacturers and the miners, but the province as a whole. The silver trade will decline, we won't have enough money to buy grain, and soon even the nobility will be impoverished. I know that you, the judges of the prefecture, the ones who interpret the decrees from the capital, so implore you, Sir Brante, to come to the aid of the honest tradesmen of Magra. Pass an amendment allowing the use of gunpowder in the silver mines. You give Egmont a speculative glance and ask him why he's asked for you specifically for help. I've been following your decisions for quite some time, Your Honour. They give me hope. I don't agree with you on everything, but we seem to see eye to eye on the essentials. The common estate needs to get real rights. It's the only way for our province and for the Empire as a whole. Sure, Prefect Elborn has proclaimed him as much himself, but unfortunately he's a nobleman of the sword first and foremost. He's bound by the blood tide, by the power of the Overseer and the Archnians, so all his undertakings are doomed to failure. If you, Sir Brante, truly care for the people, you need some powerful allies among the lowborn, allies like me. Do this for me, and together we'll change the fate of Magra. Egmont extends his hand, hope in his eyes. You take your time before answering, weighing his words carefully. How is our career looking? It's not great. We can probably take one more hit from giving him the silver mines. It might work on allowing him to use the gunpowder in the silver mines. And it might move justice up further, which is what we're going to need. Having a wealthy friend from the commoners lot will be useful, but I sincerely hope that you don't use this gunpowder for any alternative means, because then it's all going to come back to me. You take his hand. Egmont gives you a strong handshake. You tell him that you share his apprehension and understand that silver is crucial to the province. You promise to amend the law so that restrictions do not apply to silver mines. Thank you, Montgomery Brante, nobles who care about the needs of the common folk are few and far between. This is what nobility really means. I share your belief that only a union of the states will lead the empire to order and prosperity. You can count on my support. Silver is the lifeblood of Magra. Today you not only saved us all from ruin, you've also made every Magran a little bit richer, including yourself. I'll make sure the Brantes get a share of the profits. And I promise you, Brante, this gunpowder will shatter those ancient rock formations and reveal their hidden treasure to us all. Ugh. Don't feel great about that. But the wealth of Magra goes up by 2, which was very much needed. And the justice has gone up by 2. Okay, so that might save us when it comes to Commander Otton. Our own personal wealth has gone up. No downsides. No downsides as of yet. That does worry me, though. Egmont made a deal with you. You're helping him to legitimise the use of gunpowder in the mines. If there are no negative consequences of that, that would be very useful for us. But I am concerned that something could go wrong. Rumours are running wild in Anazotti. People say that a mysterious clandestine society called the Last Straw holds the entirety of the city's seedy underbelly in its clutches, with men in safe houses all over Anazotti, plotting and scheming against the nobles and the rulers of the province. The leader is a woman, a ruthless criminal by the name of Sophia. She has evaded all attempts at capture. The common people both fear the Last Straw and sympathise with their cause. If the rumours are true, the city finally has someone who will stop at nothing to help the people claim their rights. But who would support the secret organisation? And how did the insurgents manage to survive this long? No one in the city knows the answers. Magistrate Elvan Man must assuage the people's fears once again. The vile mutineers and heretics who call themselves the Last Straw will be caught and executed very soon, and anyone who has given them money and shelter will meet the same fate. The secret chancellery will make sure of that. But even facing a manhunt, the Last Straw still endures. Slowly but surely, the influence of this underground organisation is spreading throughout the city. So, orders going down and down. We're into unrest now. Commoners are starting to gain more power, and the wealth of Magra has gone down, but hopefully we've managed to help belay that with the use of the silver mines. Still not ideal, though. Threats and promises. You are in the middle of ascending the city hall's long skirt marble staircase, a small man beneath the building's towering vault. You were suddenly visited that night by messengers from Magistrate Overman. They insisted the reason was most urgent. You are already expected upstairs. There is a deafening silence in the lavishly decorated corridors, your footsteps the only noise you can hear. Finally, you enter the spacious room that is the office of Overman, a stately official of considerable age. You find him sitting in his comfortable chair of carved wood. He acknowledges your presence with a nod. However, the magistrate is not alone. Oh boy. Hello, Doris Otton. By the window of the office stands a tall Archnean. The cape of the Imperial Legion covers his shoulders. He is Doris Otton, the commander of Magra in the flesh. He does not even bother to turn around and look at you. The magistrate addresses to you formally, beckoning you closer. Judge Brante, you've come at last. Sir Otton has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. You see, the commander has learned about a litigation being prepared against him at the prefecture. He demanded that an end be put to these machinations at once, and I humbly offered him my assistance. Slowly, Otton turns to face you. He eyes you with cold contempt. Brante, you again. So you've been chosen to oversee this so-called case against me? I don't envy you. I will be brief. I will not stand idly by in the face of slander and baseless accusations. Give me your word of honour as a nobleman that you will do everything in your power to put a stop to this litigation. Only then will you be free to leave. I'll treat any other answer as an insult against my noble lineage, and let it be known that Sir Overman holds many positions, such as the chairman's seat at the Court of Honour, which means that any insult will be soon followed by a legitimate duel of honour. I'm sure you know full well how others have fared in duels as well against me. Interesting. Otton turns towards the window before you say anything, as if your answer has already been heard. Magistrate Overman watches Otton and you silently with a mysterious smirk. You stand before the two lords of the city, a young man only recently ennobled by the mantle. Any word that leaves your lips now will affect your fate. So, we could try retaliate against Otton, but we don't have the willpower to do so, even if we do have the valour. We could seek Overman's protection, but we don't have any patronage of the powerful people. We can give Otton our word, which we're not going to do. Or we can put him at ease, because we are manipulative. You modify the outraged Archon, assuring him that the case poses no threat to him whatsoever. Defying Otton's will means facing true death by his sword, and your family will have to suffer next. You have no choice but to lie and mislead the enraged Archon, doing what you can to mollify him. And so you bow deeply and speak as meekly as you can. Indeed, you say, His Excellency has every right to feel wronged by the prefecture. There is indeed a folder with his name on the archives. But you do not seek to besmirch Otton's honourable name. No, quite the contrary. You've merely been told to investigate slanderous rumours of illegal deals, and so far you found no evidence that could tarnish the honour of the commander of Magra. It is true that Sir Otton is an impeccable master of the sword, and no opponent could duel him without suffering a lesser death. But His Excellency had every right to duel whoever he chooses. You, on the other hand, are a humble servant of the law. To you, even the thought of initiating litigation against an Archon Lord is simply unthinkable. Who would ever seek to judge guilty those who have been chosen by the gods themselves to rule over the rest of the Empire? Quit your grovelling, Brante. I don't need to waste my time on a duel to see you're no threat to me. So much the better for me, then. The Archduke is expecting me already. But pray to the twins if I hear even a word of this so-called case ever again. Farewell. Otton quickly walks out of the magistrate's office. Once his cape has disappeared down the long corridor, Overman turns to you with a smile of approval. I see you're getting more and more accustomed to knowing your place, Brante. The likes of you are always a perfect fit in the ranks of power. Even if you will never reach the very top, once again I'm most pleased to have you with us. You leave the city hall with a heavy heart. Sir Bourne wants Otton's case to progress, and so it will, no matter how much you have to bluff and delude those in power. Otton's sword will continue to loom over you until his case comes to an end. So our relations with Doris Otton goes up because he thinks we're not a threat. We have got more manipulative, and nothing else really matters, at least at the moment. Otton's case still looms over you, a burden and a threat. As the strife between the estates grows more bitter, the judge's trade grows tougher by the day. The commoners demand more rights and legal protections, the nobles do their best to push back. As things stand right now, any verdict made in court may result in an upheaval in the province, and possibly determine the outcome of your case against Otton. One day, in a park by the Fallows estate favoured by drooling Anazotti nobles, you see a curly-haired young man lying prone in the small sunlit square. His body has been pierced by a sword, and it has not vanished. A true death. You are here to investigate the report of an illegal duel. The one who is still here, a slender, middle-aged noble, in an elegant black jacket, his hand still on the hilt of his sword, surrounded by gendarmes. Your orders, Your Honour? Sir Elcovio will not submit on his own. I wouldn't dare use force against him. You sign for the gendarmes to lower their weapons and approach the duellist. Elcovio's eyes widen and his face comes to life when he notices you. Before you can ask him, the nobleman begins to speak, far louder than necessary. It was a duel, sanctioned by the Court of Honour, that is all. The late Sir Este questioned my loyalty to the Emperor and called me an apostate. He left me no other choice but to defend my honour, and now he's dead. Please be quick with your verdict, Sir Judge. I'm expected at the capital. You do know who I am, don't you? Before you can say a single word? Before you can say a single word, I imagine, a carriage bearing the crest of Magistrate of a man rolls through the gate. We've seen way too much of him recently. The magistrate furrows his silvery brows. He looks at the sorrowful scene, then gestures politely for Elcovio to approach his carriage. With a chuckle, the duellist walks through the lines of gendarmes and leans on the carriage. Meanwhile, the magistrate takes you aside for a moment. Brante, as you know, I am the chairman of our city's Court of Honour. I refused to sanction this duel as long as I could, since true death was on the line. But Alan Elcovio insisted that denying him would spell trouble for the city of Anazotti. Regrettably, he is a small yet important person in the Emperor's court. He used to command the Emperor's personal guard. I realise you must mete out justice as your duty demands, but remember, duels of honour are one of the cornerstones of imperial tradition, one of the pillars that support the twins' divine vision for the Empire. You have the authority to punish Elcovio, but be careful, he might make a dangerous enemy both of yourself and for the nobles of Anazotti. The fool Aleste doesn't know this, and now he's lying there before us. It would be wise not to repeat his mistake. The magistrate of Anazotti glances around and continues in a hushed tone. Brante, this situation is far from ordinary. If the fate of your city means anything to you, it would be best to let Elcovio go without a trial. Anazotti doesn't need any trouble from the capital, and the Alestes are not as strong as they used to be. They'll get through it. You may find him if you wish. Elcovio will pay it and move on, and justice will be done at least to some extent. However, if you can defuse the matter entirely, you'll earn favour with all the aristocracy of Anazotti, and I'll personally see to it you get a swift promotion. Deep in thought, you gaze upon the body of the dead duellist and the long shadow of Elcovio. The decision you're about to make could influence all future duels in the province, as well as your own standing. Damn, we weren't far off. If we had one more diplomacy, we could pronounce the Court of Honour illegal. We have meetings of the Courts of Honour in order to prevent any duels in the future. Can't quite manage that. We can't legalise duels. We can sentence Elcovio to capital punishment, or we can fine him. It's true, I don't want to I don't want to have any wrath from the capital come out to Anazotti. I'm not sure I trust Remiel Verma, but I feel like sentencing him to capital punishment doesn't feel like it's going to get us anywhere. And it looks like it will lower our relation with Octavia. Or we can just find him and move on. Oh, I don't know. Our relations with Octavia can take the hit for sure. But I'm concerned about any other repercussions for doing so. We've taken a lot of hits for the locals recently. This feels like a big decision. Do I just fine him and give him a slap on the wrist, or do I sentence him to capital punishment? I'm sure our career is going to take a hit either way, but at least we might be able to push our justice up further. I'm going to take the hit and sentence him to capital punishment. I sincerely think this could go badly wrong, but we're going to try it. You shake your head dispassionately, enunciating every word with perfect precision. You explain the situation to Alpha-Man. A murder in a duel is still a murder, and the punishment for murder is execution. You do not have the right to distort the law. The magistrate's face falls in surprise. Brante, you don't seem to realise how the world works. I just told you El Corvio plays an important role in the Emperor's court. Are you really so eager to make enemies? Well, you're about to. No connections will protect you if you're so intent upon trampling ancient noble traditions. It seems the other man is not aware that you have friends in very high places. You tell him in turn. The Archduke's family will readily side with you. The magistrate dashes to El Corvio, fuming with rage at your words. So, El Corvio, this is a terrible misunderstanding. I'll do everything I can to right this wrong, but these good sirs mean to have you arrested. You give the gendarmes a firm order, seize the murderer's sword, shackle him, and take him to the prefecture. You dare call me a murderer? Doesn't anyone in your filthy, decrepit province know the meaning of a duel? El Corvio draws his sword and assumes a defensive stance, starting the gendarmes with such a fervent refusal to comply. You start giving orders to the gendarmes. Following your orders, they manage to surround and disarm El Corvio. You head for the prefecture to take care of the paperwork and send a message to Octavia. You ask your powerful benefactress to convince the aristocracy to side with you in ordering the death penalty of El Corvio. He is a complete outsider in Magra, you write, who happened to murder the heir to the ancient bloodline of Aleste. Surely Octavia can aid her humble servant in such a trifling matter. Her reply takes almost no time to arrive. El Corvio is a staunch follower of the Tempest and the new overseer. This puts him at great odds with my father. Removing him will be easy, especially if you have a proper case against him. Rest assured, Montgomery, the Milanidus dynasty will side with you in this trial. As the other nobles, have no fear. I will let no harm come to you, my dearest human. El Corvio's trial comes and goes incredibly quickly. The seats in the courtroom are absolutely empty. No noble risks appearing in defence of the visitor from Eterna and attracting the displeasure of Archduke Milanidus. One by one, you present evidence of El Corvio's guilt. The ill-fated noble visitor coldly spits out threats in return. The Board of Justice, presided over by El Bourne, makes its final judgment. Sending a noble to the hereafter is never easy, but there are times when the court has no other way to instill respect for imperial law among those of the noble estate. So, El Corvio, we hereby sentence you to true death by capitation. The sentence will be carried out in Majesty Square tomorrow. El Corvio is silent, unwilling to believe what has just happened, but the verdict has been made. El Corvio is taken to the dungeon, shackles still on his wrists. Tomorrow the city of Anazotti will for the first time witness a noble being executed for a duel. I imagine our career is going to take a massive hit from this. The aristocracy of Anazotti is indignant over your decision. They fear what might come next. and yet Alcovio's shameful end on the executioner's block goes seemingly unnoticed in the capital. Soon rumours begin to spread. Some say the beheaded nobleman was indeed a traitor to the crown. Why else would the Emperor's court ignore the beheading entirely? Or was it all the handiwork of Archduke Milanidas himself? Soon after the execution, something arrives on your doorstep, a small yet hefty chest with a note attached. So Brante, we realise how difficult it must have been for you to deliver this strict yet righteous verdict. We mourn the loss of our son, who transgressed against the law, forbidding your jewels. Your justice has found his murderer thanks to you. Please accept this humble gift as a token of our gratitude. So Constance Celeste and Lady Margaret Celeste. As expected, our career has gone down, but only by one, and justice has gone up. This gives us more opportunity to deal with Elborn, and our wealth has gone up. We are now an affluent person. Not a prosperous house, but we're affluent, which means if we ever need to buy our way out of things, we probably can do so now. Okay, this event is a consequence of your previous actions. Debacle in the shop. So this is because we've met the Justice at 8. Interesting. Debacle in the shop. That could be very interesting indeed. We'll leave things there for now. We've promoted justice quite a lot this episode for the commoners, and I sincerely hope that doesn't cause us any issues, but our career as judge is in a pretty bad position. We're still a judge. However, we're going to slip into a dangerous position if we're not careful. So we need to keep on pushing the commoners more and more, as long as we don't go too far. However, we cannot lose our own career, because then we cannot help them going forward. So we need to balance things out going forward. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.